Hello everyone and welcome to episode 650 of MGP. I'm Sheepdog and this is a solo episode this week because Kev, Anna and Pab are off gallivanting in America. They're on a little holiday together to celebrate us being 50% of the way through our original 1,300 episode run of MGP. That's what we've envisioned from the start. So yeah, it's great to finally hit this milestone and be halfway there. So I'm left holding the fort. I think next time we'll go on some sort of lads tour and Anna will stay behind. And then after that, me, Anna and Pab will go. I don't think three of us have ever been away before in our entire friendship without Kev. I think he's always been there. But yeah, we'll for episode 800, I'll go away with them too and Kev can do a solo episode on his own. So yeah, I hope you're all well. It's going to be a bit weird talking to myself it won't be an hour episode. I'm just going to do what I can. You know me by now. I'm a bit of a rabbiter. Up front, I do have an apology to put in for everybody listening. Kev said last week, as a joke, I might add, that I would line up someone famous like Chris Akabusi. I had no plans to do anything like that. And then during the week, work had invited me to a like a kickoff event thing, and I don't go to any of them usually because it's a big formal social thing with lots of work related bits and bobs, and it's just too much. It's stressful, it's tiresome, and so forth. So I asked my boss today, did I miss anything? Asked for a bit of a catch up, and she revealed to me that it was hosted by Chris Akabusi, and he spent the evening sat with everybody there, getting photos, having a chat. And if I'm honest, I'm a little bit heartbroken because I could have just hogged his entire evening. I could have done this podcast last night. I could have got him drunk and got him to record loads of little cameo bits, segments, just handing over. I don't know, and now Pab's turn to talk and stuff like that. And opportunity missed, and that's entirely my fault. I am deeply sorry. I don't know if our paths will ever likely cross again, but I explained to my boss, we've been chasing Akabusi for over 15 years now. That man must know we exist because he's been tagged in so many tweets, so many times. And yeah, I just feel like at some point we're destined to sit on a podcast together and chat about stuff. I haven't actually got any questions lined up for him or anything that I particularly want to know. Don't think he's into gaming. And yeah, it's just, I was trying to explain where that came from even as a whole concept, and it doesn't make any sense. It's just one of those jokes that came out and has never gone away, a bit like being called Sheepdog, funnily enough. So yeah, on to games. It's also been a bit of a weird one for me because my plan for the week was to play that mouse PI game that I talked about last week. It's a new release. Seems to be getting rave reviews and it has been fun. I've been playing it a little bit. I haven't got tons to really say about it that I haven't already said, but it's a nice fun game. It's solving a little PI mystery. But I got a message come up from my frenemy Pokemon saying that if you complete the Pokedex, get every single Pokemon registered in Pokemon Home from the Legends CA game and DLC, they have released Shiny Volcanion. You could never get it before now. It's the first time I've ever released it. You just have to register every Pokemon in the Dex. I didn't really enjoy Pokemon Legends CA. As I mentioned on the podcast, it was very focused on fighting, and I was just kind of like, I more prefer the catching and the lore building of Pokemon, and this didn't seem to have much of the lore building compared to like Legends Arceus. So I sort of held my nose and started it up thinking, right, I can't have that many to catch. And to be fair, I didn't really have that many to catch. I've loaded the DLC up. I figured out the problem I had weeks ago with getting the DLC to work. I haven't actually been able to start that yet because as far as I understand it, you have to complete the game and post-game fully to do that. And you need to catch Zygarde, the legendary or mythical, whatever it is, the main one from the game. That is the most ridiculous battle imaginable because my Pokemon are more than strong enough, but randomly during that boss battle it decides to leave the arena that you're fighting in and then just kind of nuke the floor. And I noticed after dying 3 times that there are little triangles that you can stand in that will keep you safe, but they're not next to you. You have to figure out where they are before you get nuked. And so I've tried to do this boss maybe 6 or 7 times now and keep getting nuked, and I'm just kind of like, I don't think I'm ever going to do this. I've literally got every other Pokemon registered in there from the base game except Zygarde. I'm halfway through the Megas. You have to basically just buy the crystals. I thought you had to Mega Evolve them, and I was sat there churning through Mega Evolutions. Realised you don't have to do that. You can just own the crystal and it'll register in your Pokemon Home. So that saved me some time, but I can't start the DLC until I catch this damn thing. I am genuinely tempted to get my son to do it for me because he told me he did it second try. I need to get good and all this stuff. I can't get my head around how. I feel like he must have. Sometimes he looks stuff up on YouTube like his old man used to. I don't do that anymore. And I'm just a bit thrown by the fact that he did it so flippantly, and he can't. I mean, he also did say that he used his legendaries that you get in the game, and he had some Pokemon at level 100, whereas mine are more like level 90, which is still higher than the bosses is. But I don't know. Maybe I'm just going in there underprepared or not using the right moves. I probably need to sit and think about what I'm doing. I'm so used to Pokemon games not really requiring me to think much when I'm battling, and this game's very much about battling. So that is probably part of the reason I'm not necessarily bonding with it as much as I should do, because it's requiring me to think about the one thing that I've never really put tons of effort into over the years. But it has warmed me to the game a bit. I have kind of found that I'm finding the little tasks funny, or I even started doing some of the evening battles because I needed to raise money to buy the stones that I mentioned a second ago. And I thought, do you know what? Actually, I probably just I mean, I think I gave it an online review of like 2 or something, and I'm like, well, maybe I'll bump that up to a 4 out of 10. I need to remember to actually do that. I'm not that I'm normally rating games, but I was going through a phase on some gaming equivalent of Letterboxd where I was doing that, and I feel like I've left that review out there in the ether now and need to update it because it's not accurate anymore. But we'll see how the DLC is. I've heard loads of criticisms of the DLC. I feel like it's just going to be a grind. But yeah, we'll see what happens. Well, that has taken a lot of my time this week, gaming-wise. Between that and trying to make an effort with the Mouse PI game because I felt like it was current and wanted to, but I just haven't had the energy, to be honest. Like, I don't know, I can't remember how much I've already talked about it on the podcast, but I have been seriously knackered for years now. And I'm not going to go into a whole tangent about that, but it has been hard to just get on top of gaming and stuff. Usually I just want to do the bare minimum, which is ironic because I still have no urge to play the cozy games that Kev's been very much enjoying lately. Mainly because for me, it feels like a cozy game is doing chores for the sake of doing chores. And I know there's an element of lore to it, but someone just kind of saying, hey, can you go water this grass or plant this seed or get my cat from a tree or whatever it is in any game, or can you go and collect up a load of bugs and bring them back to me and I'll give you money for it. It's like, I don't know, I could do a lot of that. I'm not doing that stuff around the house. I'm too tired to do the stuff around the house. Whereas sitting with my hands and clicking through jumping obstacles and moving a character through a plot is at least engaging, which is something that I've kind of made a note to want to talk about a little bit. Is I am stuck a little bit at the moment in terms of I don't know what's out that fits the bill of what I want to play, and I'm hoping this is something that people can message me about. If you want to message me at Sheepdog6k, or the podcast address is at Mgukpodcast. I went on a really good run of games where I played, I think it was Final Fantasy Rebirth, and I was really enjoying that because I love the story of Final Fantasy 7, perfect game. And then I went on to Baldur's Gate 3. That was the previous game of the year for that year, and it was outstanding. I played Exposition 33, perfect story, absolutely loved it. Got on to Silksong, absolutely blown away by that. Obviously, it was challenging, but loved every minute of it. And I think I've hit a bit of a there's nothing there now. I was expecting Legends CA to be the game that hooked me in and took my time and everything, but I didn't really enjoy it. And then I've been playing Cult of the Lamb with my youngest, and we're in the DLC of that. So I'd already completed that, but I'm in the DLC of it and everything. We haven't played it for a little while, but I'm kind of sat in this position now of ultimately I'm asking for, I don't know, the best story game written this year or something like that, which is a bit of an ask. But I don't know what there is at the moment, really. Is that there's nothing that comes to mind. Like I went and bought Divinity Original Sin 2 because it was, I get this mixed up with another game that's got a similar name. I'm sure that's the right name. It was made by the same people who made Baldur's Gate 3. I started it and played it for a little bit, but didn't feel hooked. And I think that was just because I didn't think ahead. I didn't have like 4 hours to sit and play it. So I stopped playing it after like half an hour and thought, well, yeah, I'm not going to have got very far in that. It's an epic game, but I need to sit and play that and maybe get into it. But I've got it on the Switch too, so I'm also a bit like, why did I buy something that I'm trying to learn to play handheld more often, and so I've been playing Legends CA handheld and I've been enjoying it more handheld, but I feel like Divinity needs to be on a TV, and so that's throwing me a bit because it means I have to go and find my Switch controller, dig it out, and then I'm just using the handheld at the moment. It doesn't feel right playing such a big game on a Switch in your hand or a Switch 2 in your hand. I also keep thinking I need to play. I got that, and I got Suikoden 1 and 2 at Christmas, and I've just not played either of them properly. And I'm kind of like, I know what I'm like. I've got a pile of games in my living room where I got them, played them for an hour or so, and then didn't play them further. And I don't want these to join that pile. And part of me is like, maybe I should load that pile up and just start through them. I've got Ni no Kuni 1 and 2 there that I need to actually play through and complete. I've only played about a quarter of each of them. Maybe they're the answer. Maybe I'm answering the question myself here, but I just feel like I was properly, I mean, I knew what I was getting from Final Fantasy, but I was still blown away by how amazing the remake was. And I know that's not everyone's consensus on it, but for me, it was like the best I could have hoped it would be, you know, perfect. And Baldur's Gate blew me away because it was just next level, and Expedition 33 took everyone by surprise, and Silk Song was just elevating Hollow Knight. It was amazing. It's just, all of them have been absolutely incredible, and they're my kind of, I don't know, my shtick, my thing, my thing that I'm into. But I can't figure out what to do with it next. I'm like looking at all the games coming out, and I'm kind of thinking I've never been able to get into a lot of the really. Do you know what? I was about to say all of the games that Anna likes. I don't mean it like it's Anna's games that I don't like. What I mean is she's into the Assassin's Creeds and things like that, and they're not my thing. That's nothing wrong with that. She doesn't like the games I like. It's not. What I'm trying to say is, like, in my head, I kind of have games set out like that. Like a Kev game is one that you're sitting doing very little in, doing chores, managing stuff. Yeah, I don't know what I'm looking at the moment, and I can't. So this is where it's hard doing a solo podcast, because I don't have someone gives me an answer on the spot and I go, oh yeah, okay. I just have to kind of go, yeah, that's my problem. So yeah, I'm on the lookout. Part of me is waiting for the DLC for Silk Song to come out, because I know that's got to be imminent, and I know what Team Cherry are like. That's probably going to take over, and that's going to be what I'm doing all the time. Part of me is really hoping that there'll be some sort of extra, because of Expedition 33 being so successful, they released that extra bit of content, which I haven't actually played, and I keep needing to sit and do that. I was hoping they'd maybe release more alongside that, and they haven't yet. And then I just keep thinking there's bound to be something that I don't know is coming out that comes out, and I don't know, maybe there will be. There's plenty of stuff later in the year. I don't know what I should be looking out for or looking forward to or filling the gaps with. There's bound to be something. I'm setting my line at when Rebirth came. I forget which way around I played it. I'm sure it was Rebirth first, but there's probably games that came out before that which I really enjoyed, and that or that I missed even, sorry, and I could play them because I missed them at the time. But yeah, what I'm looking for is, and my family will hate me, is that all of those games, I'd wake up in the morning, the kids would be going off to school, my youngest would be kind of getting ready, and I'd have about 45 minutes where I didn't have to do anything because my work starts at 8:30, and I would just sit and play my game. And then when I finished work, I'd play it again until like dinner or whatever, and then when my wife went to bed, I'd start playing the game again. And so they'd get a little bit like, for God's sakes, every time I enter the room, you're on this game. And I haven't got a game like that at the moment. I've replaced that with watching Stargate constantly. So I'm on like season 9 of Stargate, and I've only been watching it for about a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks now. And so that's like 9 seasons, 24 episodes ago. It's a lot. I mean, it's 10 seasons in total, so 240 episodes. I've smashed through that, and that's sort of satisfying me from an entertainment point of view, but it's obviously not useful for a gaming podcast because I can't sit and talk about that, although it is a great program. And as I keep saying, I need to track down the people who made the original XCOM games and make me a Stargate game. I've actually been thinking more about that as a theme in my head, games that fit shows or things that fit a good format for another game. So Stargate being the XCOM one. I saw a thread where someone was saying they wanted to make a Thunderbird game the other day, and I replied in that I would love to see that be made in a dispatch style, where you have a map of the world and a story, and you're dispatching the Thunderbirds off to do their jobs, and you're deciding which Thunderbirds should go, which pods they should take, which tech they should bring, whether Lady Penelope needs to be involved, following plots that she gets involved in, sending Brains and Tintin, having Brains research things. I just feel like that would be a really good fit for dispatch, and you could just be playing, I can't remember the guy's name, the dad. I was going to say John, but that's the one who lives in space. I mean, you could be him, Thunderbird 5, I guess. He is dispatch, isn't he? You could be John in Thunderbird 5, just dispatching everyone on the tasks. And I just feel like that's an IP there that hasn't had anything massive come out about it for ages. And I need to copyright. This is me. I can't copyright someone else's IP, but I'm copyrighting the idea. Anyway, I feel like that would work really well. And I feel like I've got a track record for coming up with these ideas because it wasn't me, obviously, because I didn't make it, I didn't make the money of it. But years before Pokemon Go came out, I did a university assignment about augmented reality and wrote about how its best use would be in gaming, and the ideal game they should make with it would be a real world augmented reality Pokemon Go game where you've got Pokemon out and about. Known was that assignment among my university peers that when Pokemon Go came out, I got messages from at least 2 people on my course going, "This, you wrote about this at uni." So yeah, I think people should listen to me and give me the Stargate game I want and the Thunderbirds game I want, because they're the ones I want now. And do you know what? Message me your ideas for games like that would be perfect as a kind of a fit, because I bet there are loads out there that haven't been done yet where things would just be perfectly ideal to fit the bill and do well. If I think of any more while I'm rabbiting, I will say so. I forgot what I was going to say. There was something I was going to say. One thing I do want to do, because I don't know how much longer this podcast is going to be, is somebody sent in a quiz. One of our listeners sent in some quiz questions and said, if you're running short, do this. And I was like, you know what? Actually, I will do it because it's quite a cool idea. So their username online is An Autistic Gamer, and they were very kind of sent a message to us. They actually told me, we were talking about Beehive Bedlam a couple of weeks back on the podcast, and they sent us a link to say that there's actually a HD remaster available on the Play Store. So if you remember playing Beehive Bedlam on the old Skybox, there is an app now you can get. I don't know if it's on iOS, but yeah, it's on the Play Store. Go have some Beehive Bedlam in your life. But I thought, yeah, do you know what? Before I get into this quiz idea, this actually inspired me thinking, this could be something we could do more often, if you guys want to hear it. So again, feedback welcome. Although I realized that, I'm not going to get all of you sending messages in about it, but I'll run the idea by Kevin. That is, I'm thinking we could do semi-regular quizzes. We can have a little quiz here and there. Doesn't have to be super long or involved. I think it'd be quite fun, and if anyone wants to keep scores and stuff, that'd be cool. And it's just something different, isn't it? Mix things up a bit. So this one I quite like because it gives you 4 things and you have to guess what they have in common, and then see whether you know what game they're from, and you get a point for knowing what they have in common and a point for knowing the games. So what I'm going to do here for your benefit is I'm not going to read the answer until I have read the question and thought about it, but keep track at home, see how you do, give yourself points, work out how well you did. There's a little kind of thing at the end that says like, oh, if you got this many points, you're an expert. If you've got this many, you're not. So question 1, what do these 4 things have in common? This will be the example one because I read this question and I knew the answer, but I checked that I knew the answer and understood it properly. So the 4 things are a rupee, a groschen, a bottle cap, and a septim. So those 4 items, rupee, groschen, bottle cap, and septim, have something in common. They're all some specific type of thing. And you have a moment to think what they are. I'll go straight into the answer now. The thing they have in common is they're all currency from video games. Now, I haven't read the answers to these bits, but my understanding is the rupee is from Zelda and the bottle cap is from Fortnite, but I have no idea what a groschen and a septim are. I'm gonna, if I was on TV or being forced to do this in the Zeitgeist one, I'd be like Elder Scrolls and I don't know. So I'm gonna move on, and rupee is from Zelda. Groschen is from Kingdoms Come Deliverance, which is the game I keep mixing up with Divinity. Bottle Cap's Fallout, and Septim is Elder Scrolls. So there we go. I'm going to count myself as being on 3, not 4, though. So number 2, Zed, Cortex, Halsey, and Robotnik. So that's Zed, Cortex, Halsey, and Robotnik. What do they have in common? I'm purely guessing by Robotnik here that they are... they're baddies, is what I was going to say. And as I went to speak, I saw the answer. They're all doctors, so no points for me there. Now, I only know one from Sonic, so I'm going to move on. It says Dr. Zed is from Borderlands. Dr. Neocortex is a doctor that appears in Crash Bandicoot. Dr. Elizabeth Halsey is a doctor from Halo Reach. And Dr. Robotnik is the doctor that appears in Sonic the Hedgehog. So I'm on 1 point from that one. I think 4 points total. Somebody needs to keep track. I'm not too worried about mine being precise. Right, number 3, I know the answer for immediately. The options are the Unreliable, Stinger Mantis, the USG Ishimura, and the Normandy. So I'm going to say that they're all I want to say spaceships or battleships, but I'm going to say spaceships, which they are. And I know that the Normandy's from Mass Effect, but I have no idea what the others are from. I'm going to say maybe the Stinger Mantis is from Subnautica, maybe, because I know that my son plays that. The Unreliable feels like a name from a Final Fantasy or something like that. I love that as a name. If I had a ship, I'd love to call it the Unreliable or the SS Sinks a lot or something like that. I have no idea on the others. So the Unreliable is from the Outer Worlds. Stinger Mantis is from Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order Survivor, slash Survivor. USG Ishimura is from Dead Space, and the Normandy is from Mass Effect. This one I don't think I have any context for. There's Jim Milton, Alexei Borodin, Connor, this is Kenway in brackets, and Tobias Reaper. Kenway for me, I'm just like that. They make Saucepan. So that's John Milton, Alexei Borodin, Connor Kenway, and Tobias Reaper. I'm guessing they're not Saucepan makers. Okay, they're all aliases. So I don't know if you know what games they're from, if you've had a chance to think about that, but I don't. Jim Milton's from Red Dead Redemption 2, which I have played. I don't remember that being a name. Alexei Borodin is from Private First Class Joseph Allen in Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. Connor Kenway is the alias of, I can't say that, Raton Hackathon in Assassin's Creed 3. I'm hoping none of this is spoilers. And Tobias Reaper is an alias from Agent 47 in Hitman. So I got none on that go. I think I'm on like 5, 6 so far. Yeah, I think I was, I'm on 6. That's terrible. Question 5. It says, the Bannered Mare, the Earl's Fortune, the Golden Sturgeon, or the Muddy Rudder. I thought they were going to be horses. And again, I saw the category straight after I'd read the thing, but I was going to go with horses because of the mare. I thought that might be like a red herring. But the Bannered Mare, Earl's Fortune, Golden Sturgeon, and Muddy Rudder, they are all pubs or taverns from different games. I have no idea. Again, so I'm going to get 0 on this one. The Bannered Mare is from White Run in Skyrim. Earl's Fortune is a pub base of operations in Watch Dogs Legion. Golden Sturgeon is in Witcher 3, and the Muddy Rudder is located in Rivet City in Fallout 3. The only one of them I've played is Fallout 3. This is kind of answering my question from before, isn't it? But in a minute, I'll go through these games and just explain whether I've tried them, whether they're not for me, and why and whatnot, perhaps. Question 6. Riley, Chop, Rufus, and Boomer. They are all... Joe, I was going to say they're all bad guys because I was thinking of, Rufus is a character in a Final Fantasy game. But now I'm also wondering if they're dog names because Boomer, Rufus, and Chop are definitely dog names. Okay, they are dog names. So that gets me to 7 points. I don't know what game any of them are from looking at this, which I'm pretty rubbish at this, aren't I? My knowledge sucks. So Riley is the dog that appears in Call of Duty Ghosts. I don't play Call of Duty, that's probably why I don't get that. Chop is the dog in Grand Theft Auto 5. I have played that, it's been a while. Rufus is the dog in Red Dead Redemption. And Boomer is a dog in Far Cry 5. I haven't played Far Cry 5, again, problem. So I think, judging on that, I got 7. The quiz result tiers that were listed on here, which I think will be, if we go ahead with this. So in my head, this is the, this wouldn't be how I would read it out if the others were on the podcast. Obviously, I would ask them, there'd be a pause while they debate and think, and then I would ask them their thoughts, and then I would tell them the answer, and we'd go through it like that. But for this, it's very hard to do that when it's just me kind of going, So there's brackets for points. If you got 0 to 5, not great. Every hero starts somewhere. Took your first steps, but the gaming gods are not impressed. Maybe the controller was upside down. Maybe you sneezed. Either way, there's room to level up. That's not me, fortunately. Decent, but you should definitely play more is 6 to 10 points. You know a bit, but you're still in tutorial mode. A few more hours of gaming will be ready to take on the real challenges. That shouldn't be where I am, but there is a lot there that I didn't know, which is painful, really. I mean, a lot of that can also just be bad memory, but still, yeah. 11 to 15, not bad at all. You got some solid gaming knowledge. You're not a noob, but you're not quite a pro either. Keep going. You're halfway to greatness. I'm not even halfway, geez. 16 to 20 points, impressive skills, you clearly know your stuff, you've battled bosses, solved puzzles, and probably rage quit once or twice, respect. So you got the Autistic Gamer's respect with 16 to 20. 21 to 25, elite gamer status, you're the friend everyone wants on their team, your gaming knowledge is sharp, your instincts are strong, and your reflexes are probably terrifying. That's definitely not me. I don't think that'd be any of us except maybe Pab, but I know that Kev always beats him in games, so I'm not even sure if Pab would be that level. And then 26 to 30 points, legendary, a true gaming master. Let me know via either the comments on Spotify or via Twitter, Blue Sky, all that stuff at Sheepdog 6K if you got this level. 26 to 30, legendary, a true gaming master. Bow down, you've achieved the highest rank. Your knowledge spans worlds, genres, and consoles. You are the final boss. I really like that. Thank you, the An Autistic Gamer. I really appreciate your effort on that. And yeah, it was really sweet of them to send it in. I'm trying to think somebody, it's like somebody else messaged, but I might cover that one next week. So yeah, let me know what your thoughts on that were. Hopefully you did well. I hope you did better than me. I did say, and what I'm thinking is looking back through that list, there are a lot of games there that I have no knowledge of. But the problem I've got to an extent is that, so I've tried Zelda games and I really, really can't get into them. Like I genuinely don't see the appeal. Like, it baffles me. And people love this, but I've tried so many. And I even got my my middle kid, Ollie, to play Zelda on the Switch. And he really enjoyed it and was having a great time. And I was just watching the puzzles thinking, no, this would annoy the heck out of me. So I'm a bit thrown on that. Kingdom Come Deliverance, I watched the ads for and thought, no, that is going to be a motion sickness simulator for me. So that's why I didn't play that. Fallout games I've obviously played, although I haven't completed them. I feel like I get Bethesda games. I get like 2/3 of the way through and then I kind of go, all right. And Elder Scrolls, exactly the same situation. Borderlands, I've tried. I know Anna loves it. I'm not into shooty games really, but I've helped her complete it. I say helped her. I've been a spawn point by a boss for her during a couple of them, at least one of them. Played a bit here and there, but it's not my cup of tea. Crash Bandicoot I've played. I haven't played it for years. I'd completely forgotten about Dr. Neo Cortex. I should have got that one right. Couldn't get into Halo. That's one of those ones that makes me feel like an alien because everyone rages about how great Halo was, and I don't doubt it for a second, but I just never got into it. It's weird to me that I like Mass Effect massively, a lot, but couldn't get into Halo. I feel like I should have got into both of them. Not that I'm saying they're identical or anything, but they're not exactly miles apart, are they? It's weird to me. I feel like Halo maybe is something that if I actually sat with them all stacked in front of me and just played through them, I'd probably go, do you know what? I was wrong with that one. But I also don't know when I'm ever going to have a chance or the inclination to sit and do that. Maybe I just need to be challenged with it. Obviously, I played Sonic, big Sonic fan. The Outer Worlds, I remember getting and just, again, not getting into it. I don't know, there's something about it. I didn't really enjoy it. Star Wars, I tend to just avoid Star Wars in general. The only time I've really had fun with Star Wars was the Mandalorian show, and then that kind of, I know they've got a film coming out for that soon, but I don't even know whether I'm up to date on that. I kind of just felt like it went off into Star Wars, and I was like, I don't have the wider knowledge of that, but I feel like you can't avoid the wider knowledge of that. And I think that's what irritates me with it, is that everything I know about it was against my will. And when I have that situation happening, it becomes like, I don't really want to know more. Like, I don't really want to play the games. I'm just going to be forced to learn everything anyway. Dead Space, I tried. It was hard. I didn't really get into it. I don't mean to be negative with these. I'm just explaining why I haven't played them. Mass Effect, obviously loved. Where are we on this list? We've got Red Dead Redemption 2. Do you know what? I should probably try and finish. This is probably an answer to my question, because I started this, got like a quarter of the way through, didn't get very much further. Restarted it, got quite a bit further than that, but not all the way. And I just haven't been back to it. And maybe I need to just load it up on the PS5 and crack on with it. I don't even know whether I think my save was on my PS4. Maybe if I can get that across and carry on, I don't really want to have to start it again. But I was hyped for this. I loved the first one. No, say the first one. I know it wasn't the first one. It's like the several one in, but Red Dead Redemption 1, I loved. So I don't know, maybe I need to just focus on this and do it. I'm never going to play a Call of Duty game. I just can't. I can't. I was actually a bit miffed the other day, and I was debating whether to mention this on the podcast, but I saw something online talk about how they were like, it's okay, to not like Call of Duty. There are casual gamers too. And I thought to myself, was this irony? Am I understanding the world backwards? To me, someone who plays Call of Duty is casual, and someone who plays literally everything else that exists is not. And I'm not saying that to be insulting to anyone, because obviously I expect that most of our listeners would treat it as just another game they play alongside all the other games they play in their library of games that they play. But this Call of Duty person was saying I think they were kind of saying as well that they wanted to take a step back from Call of Duty for a bit and become more of a casual player of other games. So they didn't mean casually play Call of Duty. They meant they were going to go and play as a casual gamer on other games. And I just thought, this is a weird world where they think they're hardcore for playing Call of Duty, but is that my misunderstanding of gaming? I'm not very great with the world sometimes, but I just always, if someone says to me, oh yeah, I play Call of Duty all the time, I'm like, oh, okay, it's like someone who plays FIFA all the time. You like the game, and I'm not saying you're not a gamer. We're not gatekeeping here, but I see that as like not really being into games, just being into the specific game you like, and that's it. Which everyone's into the games they like, but hopefully I'm making sense here. Sorry if I'm not, but to me, yeah, if you play Call of Duty 24/7, that seems casual to me, because if you're hardcore, you're going to know all the answers to this quiz. So that I knew myself that I'm not particularly hardcore. I say particularly, I don't consider myself at all. I consider pretty much everyone to be above me. I just know enough, and I am enjoying enough, and I obviously do a podcast on it because I don't know why. Because I'm mad. Assassin's Creed, tried them massively. Could not get into Assassin's Creed. Kind of got put off by the fact that the same thing Kev liked about them is what lured me into playing them. The whole story with, oh my God, I've forgotten his name. It was in my head a second ago. But the whole story with Desmond and him being in the modern day and learning he's related to all these assassins sounded quite cool. I love like a modern day world, learning about the ancient world and all the stuff we didn't know about it. That's why I'm binging Stargate at the moment. But apparently they abandoned that, and it's just assassin fun in the past. And I'm just not into it. I tried it. And then the last one on here was Hitman for that list. And I've played Hitman before. Didn't know he had a name. Haven't played it loads. Found it quite fun, but I am like a bull in the china shop. You can't get me to do stealthy stuff. I was just kind of like, I'll hide here, I'll do this, I'll do that. And then sometimes I think this is stealthy and I've not seen the perspective of something else or whatever, and I get caught out and I'm just not good at it. But that is a good series. Skyrim, I tried to get into. It's just too big and I wanted to steal everything, so I got over encumbered. Watchdog Legion, I played Watch Dogs, and weirdly, considering about what I said about Assassin's Creed, I quite enjoyed Watch Dogs, but I tried a bit of Legions, didn't get into it. Witcher 3, I've never actually touched. It just doesn't look like my cup of tea. I don't know why. I've never touched it. I think it's because I just know how big it is. I have never ever tried to even go near it. Not really sure why. Now I'm saying this out loud, I'm kind of like, I feel like that's something that I would play and go, oh my God, everyone in the world said this was good and they were right. So, who knows? Maybe one day. I feel like I've missed the boat on it a little bit, but maybe one day. Fallout 3 got another mention on there. And then the dogs was the last bit. Call of Duty Ghosts, that's a no. I played Grand Theft Auto 5, played Red Dead, and I haven't played Far Cry. And that's part of that was because I mistakenly assumed they were connected when I think it was like 3 or 4 was the first one I kind of looked at. And then I don't know, I think that's just a series I just forget exists. And I'm not sure whether, so some of it involves me not wanting to play a murdering people game while my kids are getting ready for school or stuff like that. But that doesn't mean I can't play it at night. And I'm racking my brain there thinking, are any of the other games I mentioned where you murder people? No, I don't think they are. I did feel awkward playing, what's it called? Shadow of the Colossus. I was playing that as one of my games where I was obsessed with it for a week. And obviously that's not gory, but you are climbing up giants, stabbing a sword into them, ripping them to shreds and then killing them. And my youngest was fascinated by the game. He thought it was amazing. He just quite liked that you called your horse and then you rode around on it. And I kept making him shout the horse's name and stuff. Similar to Final Fantasy 16 and just shouting for Torga all the time and going, my wounds, boy. Which again, if a game's got that, it's pretty much an instant win in this house. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like, without really meaning to, I didn't think this through. I've given you a list of things I don't like in games there and a list of the games I love. If anyone's still listening, because I appreciate this has been a very self-centered and, self-obsessed kind of podcast, but it was a solo one. Yeah, feedback, ideas. I'd love it. I am yearning for something fun to play. I'm in this really weird state at the moment as well, where it's like I am knackered, but I'm so desperate to be useful. I've been doing the washing, hanging it up and getting it down, and all of this, which I was, been doing anyway. I'm not saying it like I want to pat on the head, but my wife comes home and she's like, "Is that the washing I put out? Like put on this morning?" I'm like, "No, that was like 3 loads ago." And she's like, "What the hell?" And I've been like just getting on with it because I'm just like, I'm so bored of being useless, sitting around doing nothing. I need to do something good. So I'm just kind of in a real, I think some of it's coming from the fact that I know I'm on like the cusp of getting a diagnosis of what's wrong with me, and the options on the table are all fixable things. And I've been unwell. According to my doctor, it's like goes back 3 or 4 years. So I'm kind of like, look, we're talking 2022 was the last time I felt optimal. I could be better soon. I'm going to be doing lots of cool stuff. This is going to be great. And so I think I'm just starting to get really impatient for that. And so I want to do some cool stuff, but I also want to play some cool games. And the games have been keeping me alive. I feel like they've been keeping me feeling connected to the world over the past couple of years, especially. So I'm just really keen to get, I want something to give me that lift over the line, I think, really. Mulling around watching Stargate has been lovely for the past couple of weeks, but I don't know, I feel like I'm not really doing anything. It's passive. I'm playing Balatro while I watch it, basically. And I'm doing my work, but yeah, I need something. I need something to grip me. But yeah, I can't wait. I mean, I'm hoping I'll be better within a month or so. I have got some big plans for this year in that I am working on a game, but not just working on it like a game jam. We're officially sitting and trying to work out and register a game dev studio. One of the guys on it is he's made his own engine, so we're going to be using that. Obviously I've got a musician and artist, lots of devs. I'm the writer. Going to be fantastic. We're really hyped about that. Want to write sequels to, I've got Nagling Part 2 to write. I finished writing, get drawn up and done. I started writing a comic myself and doodling it myself, and I'm thinking if I have the energy, I might get some art lessons to just try and draw my own little comic and do 100% of the stuff, because I think that'd be fun. And I've got like 3 books I need to finish, and I'm just kind of like, just need to get the energy to keep pushing those rocks up a hill. I can't wait. Maybe this is part of the reason why I'm so knackered, is that I've got all of these things in my head that I'm not doing and I'm trying to do, and I need to just sit and rest for a bit. But yeah, that'll be it. They'll be like, "Mate, you've not got anything wrong with you. You're just mad and need to chill out." But yeah, hopefully that'll all come together in a cool way. I forgot why I started talking about any of that. And this is ADHD basically, isn't it? Right, I'll get it on that note. I'm going to end it because I feel like the thread was there. I was holding the thread, and then the thread just kind of floated out of my hand and I couldn't get to it anymore. And so I'm just going to wrap up. So as always, if you do want to message us, we're at Mgukpodcast. You can message me at Sheepdog6k. Or if you want to be like An Autistic Gamer, the user who messaged us, listening messages, we have got an email address, which is mgukpodcast@gmail.com. I don't know if anybody else has access to that from the podcast except me. I feel like Kev did once upon a time, but he doesn't check his emails anyway. But I'm someone who doesn't like having, like, if I get an email and there's like a 1 on the app, I have to go in and read it and whatever. So I always read that stuff. I happened to get the quiz email because I happened to check the junk email for the first time in ages, and they literally just sent it. But I'm going to make a habit of checking the junk folder now because I didn't realize stuff was going there. So if you have emailed us in the past and it got sent to junk, I apologize about that. But yeah, messages with your thoughts, respond to the stuff I said on the podcast. You can comment on Spotify as well. And thanks for listening to episode 650. I'll catch you next week. Cheers.